Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to give my thoughts on the new trials changes that Bungie's put out over this past weekend. Um, just in my opinion, I'd say, at least from in my experience, that trials has definitely improved a great bit since when it was last available. For one, um, higher population has definitely made a significant distance or difference in terms of like matchmaking quality and like stress of the matches. Uh, Players like me have definitely noticed that it's a lot easier to like farm for like their adept weapons with more people in the playlist, so there's more matchmaking of variety rather than having to play the same teams over and over. And this is also good for newer returning players who so that they actually have some different variety in matches instead of getting stomped on every single match. So that's really good that there's now like a significant match variety. So you can get your lucky and roll your way towards like a 7 win streak or a 5 win streak or something like that. But in terms of population, it was definitely significantly improved over this weekend. Now, definitely, I want to talk about after, which kind of works into that population, is how Bungie split up the matchmaking player pools, and they did this by having like consolidating the trials passages into two different trials passages. Um, One is the Trials of Osiris passage. That's like the practice version of Trials of Osiris, like less stakes. It's just for new players, really, to get their feet wet in the mode and see what it's all about before actually going into the harder passage, which is the Lighthouse passage, where they compete for like the actual like depth weapons, rarer cosmetics, glow reward amplifiers, stuff like that. So Bungie made it pretty clear that people aren't really just going to sit in that easier Trials of Osiris pool. They're going to want to, practice in there for a little bit, maybe get a little bit more used to the game mode, but so that they eventually switch to Lighthouse Passage where really all the loot is, which is really good because at the same time, newer players can, learn how the mode actually works, get some practice in, but at the same time, this doesn't really affect the population for the community at large who like want to play and get all the adept weapons because those players are going to eventually move over to that lighthouse pool. So most players are going to be in that giant population pool. So you could really tell in the matches this week that lots of different people you were playing against, you weren't matching the same people over and over. So Bungie, I think, handled the matchmaking player pools pretty well. And another neat thing they did is so there's kind of a pseudo flawless pool at this point now. So I believe if you get 7 wins, or it's either 7 wins or you have that flawless win streak, you do get put in a separate matchmaking pool where you go against other players who have had the flawless match streak or the 7 game win passage. So the games do get harder once you get to that point there, but they made a workaround, which I think is really cool. That if you play with somebody who has not completed their lighthouse passage or has not gotten their 7 wins yet, you are placed in the easier pool. That way, you don't bring people up into that harder pool when they're just they haven't even played in the normal pool yet. So you can play with people and help people get to their flawless run, and you can still play in the easier pool at the same time. So what I've had a great time with this weekend is playing with a lot of my viewers here. Great time. Thanks again, all the support on the streams, guys. But a lot of people had a lot of fun, including myself. Just playing with like people who hadn't played Trials in a really long time, helping getting their 5, 6, 7 game win streaks and getting into the lighthouse for the first time. So again, that kind of plays into why a lot of people had a great time in Trials, which is that lighthouse isn't gate kept and people can get the loot that they want without having to worry about wasting their time with win streaks. So there's less stress really all around when it comes to your Trials matches in general. So I think it's really cool that Bungie added that matchmaking parameter where you can be in that easier pool, but at the same time you have to be helping people who haven't done it before. So it's kind of a trade-off where you can play in a 3 stack with all your best friends, and could really sweat it out against the other teams for fun. You can definitely have those fun try-hard matches, but at the same time, if you want those easier matches, you have to help other people play, which I think is a good change. I know that honestly, I'd probably rather do the carries and instead of doing the 3 stacking as the tough matches, but I can definitely mix in a little bit of both. Like if I want some good YouTube games where I go against better teams, I can always know that, oh, I can just 3 stack with my friends and get those tryhard matches. But if I just want to help other people and relax a little bit, I can always just get someone, one of my viewers, and play in the regular Lighthouse pool, where we can get those easier games that I can help them get their 7 win streak at the same time. I know that was really good, especially this weekend in terms of farming adept weapons. I definitely got all of my Exalted Truth God rolls. When I had that 7 win passage, I was farming adepts at the same time I was helping people get their 7 win streak, which is really, really fun. Now, this kind of plays into the next big thing, which is loot. This week was Exalted Truth. That was a really highly anticipated weapon that came back. Great perks. Definitely probably the best energy. 140 RPM hand cannon. Crazy stats. Bungie made it really nice that they increased the loot drops, especially if you got a 7 game win streak. I don't know the stats, the reward multipliers for the other levels of win streaks, but I didn't see that if you get a 7 game win streak, your post flawless win streak matches, so it's like wins after 7 basically, do have a 75% chance to drop the Exalted Truth on a win. So it really felt like I was getting an Exalted Truth like adept most wins after playing. So while helping a lot of people get their win streaks in their Lighthouse run in the first place, I was getting a whole bunch of adepts. So really it was a win-win. Loot was absolutely raining this weekend. I wish Bungie would kind of do something about the armor drops. I feel like they could easily make the Trials armor like Artifice or something, or they could drop more like differing materials. Because if you're a PvP player, you can't really get Ascendant alloys unless you're you get your 3 from buying from my wool, and then you get a couple for playing comp. But other than that, you can't just really just farm it. It's kind of just like a set amount of rewards. I guess there is Iron Banner at the time of recording this video. You do get alloys from that, but that's not always available. So I wish there was something where you could get more like Ascendant alloys, because those are the materials you need to enhance the guns you want to use in PvP. So they could definitely use some improvement there. But I think all around, like the loot wise, there was tons and tons of loot drops. Lots of people were excited getting their Exalted Truth God rolls. I know me personally, it took a while for me to get mine because I kept getting destabilizing rounds, repulsor brace. I kept getting the PvE rolls. I was like, it's cool. Like I do play PvE from time to time, but like that's not really the meat and potatoes. I wanted my like keep away lone wolf and like slide shot rolls, but I did get those eventually just because I was playing a lot. But that's just RNG at the end of the day, right? Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But yeah, I think that definitely helped the population in terms of this weekend. Having a good weapon like the hand cannon is definitely going to make a difference, because when it's like the glaive or like I think the scout's actually out of the pool, not the prophet, but like one of those like not popular weapons are in the pool, Trials population is definitely going to suffer. So when those weekends come up, it's definitely going to be harder in terms of matchmaking. But I think we're starting from such a high that even those lower like populated weekends from now on are still going to be significantly better than what we were at before, which is like basically playing the same team multiple times a passage, which is really good. I don't know how long this system will be sustainable, because this is all really being driven by loot here, guys. As long as there's good loot, people are going to want to play, but I think as once really people have gotten their god rolls on most of the weapons, they're not going to really want to play Trials like intrinsically. There's not really like intrinsic motivation to get better at Trials, really. It's just like kind of like a loot thing. So I think Bungie would have to make significant changes to the PvP sandbox to make a big difference in making people actually want to play Trials just for the fun of Trials. I know there are players like me that actually like doing that, but I don't think that's the norm in terms of actual players around playing Destiny. So I know a lot of people were really upset about the Bolt Charge Barricade Titans. I'll definitely have to make a build video on that. That was pretty strong. Invis Hunters too are really pretty strong as well here. So meta wise, it could be a little bit better, but I don't know. I feel like that pulse rifle, the Redrix, is like it's strong, but I think an igneous hammer is still better. Honestly, I don't know. But that the meta wise, there's definitely like less options people are playing. I think most people are playing like the Striker Titans or their Night Stalkers or the Well Warlocks. So yeah, I think this is really just people are really motivated by the loot rather than the actual gameplay itself, which is a little bit sad, but I think that's just how it is, the reality of the situation. So I think if Bungie is going to keep this good train rolling, they're going to need to just add more weapons more frequently that people want. Igneous Hammer have to come back. I don't know, like Immortal or Shiro's Wrath will have to come back. They may need to make some new exciting weapons, something that people will actually want to chase. Because again, I think that once that loot runs dry, in terms of people getting their god rolls, when people have nothing left to chase, they're not going to want to play Trials. And that's not to say like a lot of people like myself don't find it fun just playing just to play, but I think most people just kind of want to get the guns and dip. But as they keep making RNG fickle, so I think a lot of people left this weekend without like an Exalted Truth God roll they wanted. So when it comes back, people are still going to want to go back and get their adept rolls and such. But yeah, guys, those are just my general thoughts on Trials right now. It's definitely been a significant improvement. I had a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.